Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. It is sunny. I'm keeping track of the weather on Fridays. Anyway, I am thrilled to have Gaye Mitchell with us today because she is my insurance go-to lady. She is fabulous. So
Mm,
welcome, Gaye.
Thanks, Betsy. You're so sweet.
So let's start, since I'm a realtor, let's start with homeowners insurance. So
Yes.
how do you know how much you need? I mean, that's
Well,
always
the
my
first
thing.
the first interesting thing about insurance is you always feel as though you're paying too much for it when you're not using it, and you never have enough when you need it. So let's be realistic. A home is the most important purchase that you're going to make in your lifetime, usually. And when you have a claim, you want to know that you're getting a replacement policy, not an actual cash value policy. So I only deal with replacement policies because I don't want my clients to not
Calling you
have
up,
what
right?
they have.
Okay, so that's number one. Remember this: replacement policy.
Yes, that's number one, the most important thing. And then of course, how much coverage. It's not the realtor's pricing of the home. It's the actual square footage of the home that it would cost the insurance company to rebuild your home. So it's not what the market value of the house is. People like to believe that they only need the insurance for what they pay for the house, but that's not the case. It's really dealing with the square footage of the home.
And
And
so, do you guys have like charts for that? I mean,
you know what? It's all calculated into the system, at
okay, right.
least in my system that I deal with.
Right. So it says if you live in Northbrook and the square footage is this and it has a finished basement and blah, 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 the
Correct.
minimum you should have is XYZ.
And if it's a frame home versus a brick, it
Okay.
totally different variables. And as people possibly don't understand, that insurance is rated on numerous variables, your credit score, the year the house was built, the zip code the house is in. You know, it's
That's one, the credit score. People don't realize that, but that is something really important. So your credit score, and I believe, does that affect just the all insurance or just homeowners?
you know what? It affects your auto, your
Auto. That's what I
home.
was. Yeah.
If you're trying to get life insurance, if you filed bankruptcy, or if you have DUIs, or if you've had accidents or speeding tickets, even for life insurance, it
Right.
can potentially give you a rate up.
Right. And that's what, like, all those, I mean, correct me again if I'm wrong, but those actuaries, those brainy people that do all this calculating and figuring,
Correct.
they statistically cipher all of this.
Correct. And literally, I just had 3 kids, not kids, but young
Young.
adults, who were looking for a renter's policy. They all were renting an apartment, 3-room apartment. So I wrote them all a renter's policy, all with the same coverages. One young adult had a lot of student loan debt, and their rate was higher than the young adult who has no credit card debt and no student loans. And the third young adult paid the most because they have student loan debt, they have credit card debt. And it's unfortunate, but it's not that they're good or bad people. It's just how the ratings fall into place. It's really unfortunate, but it's true.
But that's why we're here. That's a great example because we want to educate everybody that all of these things play into this and that it's just the way it is. And we can't do anything about it, whether it's, we can discuss whether that's right or wrong. That's not our place. It is
No,
what it is.
it is
And
what it
while
is.
you're mentioning renters insurance, that's really important.
Well, it's not, the renter's insurance is extremely important, but it's not that I'm worried about. It's your neighbor who's irresponsible, who potentially possibly leaves a candle burning and falls asleep and burns down the place. It's not, you could do everything correct. It's the other person that's in your building that could absolutely be careless, and you could lose everything if you don't have rent. You know what I mean? If you don't
Right.
have coverage for your own personal property.
And that's another thing that people think, well, if I'm not at fault, my insurance company doesn't pay it. That is also a myth.
Well, it's funny you say that, because just last week, I had three, not one, not two, but three separate clients all get hit by uninsured motorists.
Ooh.
One was out of state, and the guy got out of the car and said, "I don't have insurance. It was my fault. Sorry." And all of my clients, that was one example. And the car was totaled, and my policy paid them out beautifully. So the most important thing people have to realize about insurance, you are only as good as your policy and as your agent who guides you to what you need.
Who guides you?
You
Right. And while we're talking about this, the trees in the backyard, we've got trees falling down all over the place right now. But if your tree hits my house, it's my policy, not theirs, correct?
Well, that's interesting, because number one, you could always ask the neighbor, depending whether you know him or not, that tree was in his backyard and his tree destroyed your fence, or, if you owned the fence, or if, whatever. So, not saying that if it's a good neighbor, but if it's a neighbor who knows the right and wrong, the neighbor would take care of the tree. But if you do have a neighbor who says, it's on your property, it's not on mine anymore, you know what I mean? There's always that potential. Then you have no choice but to claim it under yours. But the big thing is, don't forget, you have a deductible. So you always want to try to work with your neighbor whose tree it really is, to get them to help you with the situation.
Well, what if it's the kind of thing, I know sometimes do the insurance companies, like, I want to say, litigate it, like
subrogate it. It's called subrogating. So what my carriers will do, I can't speak for anybody else's, but for my carriers that I represent, they are all about taking care of the insureds. That's why I write them. So they will absolutely take care of our insured and worry about getting the money back from the person who caused the damage after our insured is taken care of.
Okay.
Not all policies are like that.
Okay.
So it's very important that people realize that too.
Okay. All right. That's good to know, because I mean, my son has a tree and it's not in his property, but it's very, with this weather, it could fall onto his house. So it's like, it's complicated. The bank owns the house and the tree,
and the bank wants to do as least as possible. But I would recommend your son calling the bank and saying that he is looking out for his insured interest, and he is notifying the bank, put him on record, that he is very concerned about this tree, and that they should at least cut down the branches or the limbs that are going over his property. And if they don't do anything about it, then he can absolutely feel free. Of course, it's going to cost him money, but he can absolutely cut down what's encroaching on his property. That's what he should absolutely do.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know, because we are having an attorney send a letter to, because I think it's important to have it on record, on notice, that we told them up front that this was dangerous.
Yes.
And then if and when something happens in our insurance company, we can say to them, look, we sent them this email and they chose not to do anything. It may help my insurance company in a claim in the future.
Correct.
Okay. That is good to know. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to now my favorite subject, because the clock is ticking and I'm getting near to Medicare.
Oh.
I'm going to start to say it so that when the time comes, I'm used to it. So, with all this COVID, and they're saying the senior citizens 65 and above, I'm like, I shake every time I hear it. But anyway, so I know that this is a really, really big topic, but people go, they sign up for their Medicare, then they really need to have a supplement and a drug policy at this time. Is that
When they,
correct?
right through, you know what, people, it's a very dog eat dog market. So people start recruiting people a year before you turn 65 because they sell people's names with the lists,
Yeah.
and people start calling people off the hook.
They're calling me already.
Right. Because it's a year before and it's
Mm.
big.
It's
you're,
like I'm only going to be 63 and they're already calling. I'm
all right.
62 and they're calling.
Oh, wow.
Okay, anyway.
Well, so it's a big market, and I choose not to deal with the prescription D drug card because the drug formularies change every quarter, and I want people to realize that once they're locked into the drug card, they're locked in for a year until the following open enrollment.
Okay.
And the drug card is a beast on its own. You know, I have very strong opinions that I'm of the perspective that I want to go where I want to go when I want to go. I don't want to be told that I can't see a doctor or that I
Right.
have to wait because I need a referral. I, you know, don't get me wrong, the HMOs work beautifully for people and I applaud them. But in my own family situation, when we have a medical condition, you know, chronic illnesses, medical condition, I want to be able to go where I want to go. And the biggest problem I have is with the Advantage plans, because people believe as though it is such a good thing. And unfortunately, in this world, you know, you get what you pay for. And I don't believe in it. It's just my opinion, just my opinion. I like to sign my people up for the Plan F has gone away for people who are turning 65. So I put them on Plan G, Plan G plus.
And who's that through? It's like Blue Cross.
I like Blue Cross. I like Blue Cross. I like to write a lot of Blue Cross. I have a couple of clients that have wanted Mutual of Omaha. I write them, you know, I listen to what my clients want, but I write
most people want they want a Blue Cross Blue Shield. I mean,
right.
Look, we're talking to a certain population,
Correct.
And this is just our opinion.
It's just my opinion, and I really like Blue Cross. Blue Cross runs the industry, as far as I believe.
Yeah.
As far as I believe. And but I do like to not put my people on Advantage, because my biggest problem is it's really an HMO, and they use the term Advantage, but they're not calling it what it really is.
Right.
So that's throughout the whole entire industry.
So let me go back to Blue Cross Blue Shield. Does say 10 people turn 65? Is it just everybody can get the same?
Everybody and anybody can sign up for whatever supplement they want.
Okay.
You always want to make sure that you sign up for a supplement. And I'm so sorry, I forgot to turn their ringers off.
That's okay. That's okay. You're very busy. That's okay.
But everybody can always. A lot of people don't realize that whatever Medicare covers at 80%, your supplement, depending on what supplement you get, they would pick up the difference.
Right.
So there's a lot of people that don't realize or don't want to spend the money on having a supplement. So that's why they like to sign up for this Medicare Advantage, because they feel as though, well, at least they'll have something and it's not costing them anything, or, so that could work for them, and that's great.
Right. But
I applaud them.
But the question I have is, if I'm sick, or is the price the same for everybody at a certain age when they sign up for the supplement, or are there criteria?
It all depends on what supplement you're signing up for.
But if it's the same supplement.
So let's just say you want the Plan G.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want the Plan G, it changes from age 65 all the way to 100. You've got a different rate. Of course, the premium goes up the older you get.
Right.
The premium is higher.
Okay. But
it's the same outline.
Okay. And if I'm 65 and my girlfriend is 65 and we both come to you and we say, okay, we're turning 65. We want this supplement. We want G. It'll be the same price. So that it's not based on your physical health at that point.
Well, it depends on which carrier you go with.
Okay.
So Blue Cross it really could depend on the zip code too.
Okay.
And if you're a smoker or a non-smoker.
Okay. So there are some criteria.
There is the zip code and smoker, non-smoker, but otherwise there's definitely a rate up if you're a smoker.
Yeah.
With the new program that Blue Cross has.
Right.
The new application setting.
Okay. And one last question, how far in advance do we sign up for that supplement?
You can technically sign up a year ahead of time, but I like to tell people you can get your red, white, and blue card, your Medicare card, your red, white, and blue card. You can apply for it 3 months before. So I always tell my clients, when you sign up for your red, white, and blue card and you once receive it, call me and then we'll sign you up on your supplement.
Okay.
The big rush is that people don't realize is that a lot of agents like to lock you in a year ahead, because then you're theirs as long as you stay with that carrier. They technically own you.
Right.
As long as you don't switch. But, the people I work with know that I worry about you. Yes, I worry about money, but I don't worry about the money. I'd rather take care of you and get you what you want.
Right. And that is why Gaye's phone rings constantly, because she's answering it, because her people are calling her and she answers it and she takes care of them. And that is one of the very reasons we love you. And I call at all kinds of weird hours. Friday night at 7. I got a client that needs something. She's like, no problem. So I very much appreciate that. And this was my own private getting ready. So I appreciate you talking with me. I appreciate this. And anybody that wants to get in touch with you, I put your phone number on my Facebook page here, and they certainly can call me, text me, and I will send you Gaye's information.
Betsy, you're wonderful. You really are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for keeping me sane and happy and safe. And we'll talk to you soon. Everybody have a great weekend.
Okay. Thank you too.
Bye.
Bye.